Recap of Monday. Blew up my fund of futures account. Basically just gambled it away at the end because the same exact thing as Friday happened to me. I was in a position, needed 2.2 R for the consistency, and it pushed like 2.1 R and stopped me out. Break even. And after that, I was like tired of sitting in this account. Should have passed it today. Friday should have hit, today should have hit. And I just wanted to restart the account because I was just pissed off. And yeah, I just started consciously taking like crazy positions. But the actual trade I was in, I stand by. It was a good trade that I would have taken normally. Anyways, the ideas today were based off of what we were gonna do at the 598 highs. The highs of this range because we're coming off of a sweep of huge lows, so we're potentially gonna want to recover this whole move off those lows. And I was gonna utilize 598 highs to see what we did. Um, Off open, we pushed over the 598 highs. I'm watching this monthly level as a potential level to try to hold this sweep of 598. In short, we pushed up to the PDR, held it cleanly, and then started holding underneath this monthly level. And for a potential sweep of 598, sent us down and we just rejected off 598. So when 598 held, I wanted to be long on the actual failing of this thing, the failing of that 598 sweep. If we can hold above, get above and hold the internal high, because we should be able to break into a new high. If this is a failed sweep and this 1 minute high shouldn't sell us up. We got over that 1 minute high, but I didn't want to take anything until we tried to retest it and I was going to see what we did. Originally, we try to stall up the 50. We come down to the the internal high after everything's already holding down here. It actually fails, tries to sell off, which if this is going to fail the internal high, then I'm going to start getting ready for 598 to potentially be a sweep. But the lowest part of that move just holds this level up from above. And now this is the level that's supposed to hold this liquidity sweep down. So we hold this thing up. We've already held 598. If we can regain the high again and the falling underneath is just to rebalance the level, I wanted to long it and play 598 failing as a sweep and long it into the next targets above, which is really just the filling of this range. So we tried to regain this thing. At that point, I was trying to get internal, look for entry internally. I wanted to see what wick was acting as an internal resistance, and it was this one. And how are we behaving back on this high that we get now that we got above it? Moral of the story is it got really choppy trying to get back above this high, but we could not actually break the wick. So I wasn't taking anything until we could break this level of resistance on a 1 minute. Tried to fall back underneath it again, tried to stall, tried to stall. Kept being indecisive on this high. The bullish things are already in line though with this and this. At this point, after the second attempt to push, we fall again. We just buy up these internal lows and then start regaining. We break the wick. I didn't want to try anything because it was already choppy and there was no retest of anything on this push up. So I just wanted to see what we were going to do after this dump down to the internal low. If we can actually stay on this high, above this high, off this rebalance, off of 598 failing as a sweep. So I was going to see until we got up to this next high, what we did up there to potentially catch this thing pushing up. We end up holding this high up from above after that wick breaks. And I wanted to see what these internal highs were doing, just for context. We try to sell off of them, can't go anywhere. We get the break above them. We hold them up, we hold the PDR, and then we close above these highs. At this point, I was willing to take the retest of this wick, which is also, this is the thing I held on the top, with my stop underneath this test of these internal highs, because at this point, we've gotten above the liquidity. We tried to sell off and regain it to have a liquidity sweep. It failed. We tried to break into a new high. It was sloppy, but we did eventually hold it off of an internal sweep. So now we're holding over the original high over a big liquidity sweep, failing. Internally, we just tried to sell off of these internal highs to stay in this chop, failed, regained them, held them up from above, and then broke out the range. To me, it was looking like 598 was failing as a sweep. The internal ranges are failing, and we're going to try to catch a breakout. I took a relatively aggressive trade with a retest of the wick, which is just the highs. My stop right underneath this last retest of these internal highs. We've already tested this range and held this level up. We're getting the break now. I'm willing to take the chances. This is the breakout, and if it wants to just sweep this high and stay range bound, I like the probabilities on my side anyways with everything else. So I risk this 1/3 of the account going for 2.3 R here to get the consistency target. Almost get stopped out here. But we bounce back to the internal low, but still end up holding it. Get the push up, and same story again. Miss my TP 2 days in a row by this much. Then this thing came back, broke me even, and flew. So at this point, I said, okay, I'm about to tweak out. I've taken 2 break evens in a row. This account has 2R left in drawdown. I just sat a whole weekend after getting stopped. My TP missed by a tick to hit the consistency rule. Then the same thing happens on the next Monday. I was fed up with this account. I'm tired of sitting in a challenge for over a week. I'm either passing this thing or failing this thing today, is what I decided. So I just started to take some positions that I would not normally take. I was just trying to take anything to be able to long this thing. I ended up taking like 3 break evens trying to long over this volume imbalance in the PDR level. Then I got stopped out. And at this point, I'd been down $800 on a day from so much slippage. I had $400 in drawdown left. Tired of this account. I'm not going to try to recover this. I'd rather just pay the 77 and start a new one. So after I made some food, I came back. I literally just market entered a short right here with my stop above this. Trying to hold for 1 to 5. Literally just gambling. And yeah, this thing instantly stops me out. And yeah, so I'm not actually regarding any of the stuff I did up here after this because at this point I was just trying to gamble this account away because I'm not sitting on this account and drawdown for another day. This is just a waste of time. The trade I actually took, I stand by. If it was a normal position and we weren't in the conditions trying to hold for 2.3, likely would have been trailed out underneath that candle's low for about 1.3 after this expansion up. Push 2.5 R. Actually, this did not push 2.5. Sorry. Would have been trailed for about 1 R in this trade normally. Um, but yeah, I stand by that position. Got completely edged 2 days in a row. This was a position from today, needed 2.3 R, and then on Friday, let's take a look at Friday. This was the position from Friday. Needed 2.2 on Friday. This can't be right. And she was on the bottom of that wick. There, stop was above here. Needed 2.2 that day. So if these trades would have both hit, this account would have been passed and I would have been able to go back to trading normal. But this BS happened and I just tweaked out. Like I wasn't uncontrollably tweaking out. I consciously decided, okay, I'm just gonna either pass or fail this account today, and I'm just gonna spam C grade positions to try to catch this. Cause I'm either restarting this thing or I'm failing it. So yeah, the read on the day, the actual reading of the day, the actual patience waiting for the setup and catching this breakout here was good, and it's just frustrating.